I saw a ship that was older, um, and the sails, if you look down on it, the sails seemed strong and um, clean, and it looked new. But the bottom of the ship was not in good order. It was um, sort of older and falling apart a little bit. And at the top of this ship, you could see that in the sails, you could see the shadow of people in the light, just walking. And in the bottom of the ship, you could see that it was raised above the water about maybe 6 to 10 feet above the water. And the water was, it was dark. It was cloudy, gray, dark, and the waters were not wild, but they weren't settled either. And a few things that were going on around the ship were, one thing was the bottom of the ship broke open and things were being taken out of the ship. So like barrels and boxes and things like that. I think it was on purpose, but it wasn't, the ship wasn't like opening a door, like a hatch and it coming out. It was like broken up a little bit there as the things came out, rolling out and going into the water. Another thing that was happening on the ship was games were being played. 2 games that I saw. One was a game that you play when you gamble. It's like, I don't know the name of it. Roulette, maybe it's roulette. It's the one that you throw the metal ball into and you spin it and it lands by chance on a number. And if you have that number or color, you win money. Is that little? And then the other game that was being played was, again, with a little metal ball, but it's a wooden game. I think it's called Labyrinth. And you roll the metal ball to try to get from one side to the other without falling into these holes. So those 2 games were being played aboard the ship in this certain area, in a certain section of the ship. And then I only saw 2 more things happening here. One thing was there had been holes blown into the ship from like a war, like a cannon had shot holes into the ship towards the bottom. This is what I was talking about, sort of how it was sort of in disarray, this bottom part, the hole of the ship. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. Anyway, and water was pouring out of it because it was raised above the water. So it was able to, the water just came out of the ship with fish and things like that, just poured out of these holes and out of the ship. And then this is just why I meant it was scattered, because a bunch of different things happened. And then I saw from the sky, from all over the sky, it was like raining bread. And the ship filled up with bread, but also like it was going into the sea and things like that. So I can't see what happens with the bread. Just know that it's filling up the boat. And then I saw 2 more things. One, I saw the anchor being pulled up from the ship. It wasn't, obviously the boat wasn't in the water, but the anchor was, and it was being pulled up by a chain and it came up out of the water. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing that I saw was deep in the ocean, an enemy was approaching the ship, and it actually frightened me, to be honest, seeing it. It reminded me of a octopus, but it had way more legs than that. Mm-hmm. Way more legs. And it was coming quickly towards the ship and from deep inside the ocean. And it was a little creepy, and it came quickly, and it kind of came up out of the water and attached itself to the bottom of the ship, but it wasn't able to hold. And it was like, the water was kind of rough down there where he was coming up from, and then he tried to attach himself. Well, he did attach himself momentarily to the ship, and then he fell off back into the water. And that was everything that I saw.
That's a very interesting region. Besides that, I don't have much to say except maybe you also ask for understanding. Let's start with Ben. Ben, do you have some understanding?
Sorry, I'm trying to move where the washing machine isn't so loud.
Okay, bro.
I think that you could reasonably interpret the ship as a person.
Wow.
And there's a lot of implications there that seem relatively clear. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I off the cuff.